Warning, this is the new 26 review for this week's episode, Twilight Time. No audio video clips from the episode are being used in the making of this video as par Code Equestria rules, seeing that they belong to the lovely people of Hasbro and DHX Media. Leave a comment, favorite, subscribe. And definitely like and get in touch with me on Twitter at twitter.com/LeocoLion or substitute LeocoLion for Code Equestria to get the official Code Equestria Twitter. And maybe an Ask Tomorrow might be coming soon. Another week, another fun episode. Or is it just because, or is it that my standards are somewhat lowered for this show, and I don't expect much, which really I don't. It's a 30-minute kids show, so stop having adult expectations, analyst. This week, however, when I saw the episode title, my eyes lit up. And the episode featuring Twilight Sparkle, my favorite character, as one of the leads, gets me all giddy with excitement. Then I find out it's a CMC episode, in which I am doubly giddy with my excitement. You see, ANY Entertainment, also known as the ANY Pony, has a checklist of things that he wants to see this season, and about half of those things have been checked off. Now, if I personally had a checklist, one of those things would be princess exploitation. Let me explain. Now that Twilight is a princess, you would expect someone or something in the community to exploit the living crap out of it. After all, she is a celebrity. She is important, you know. Usually, when you have someone important living in your town, you try to be around him or her at any point. This is practically my wish fulfillment. Twilight Time is a CMC episode based around, well, them spending at least an hour a week with Twilight at the library learning particular skills. Scootaloo is learning how to be a mechanic. Apple Bloom is trying to master potion making, which is continuity reference and reference to the Cutie Pox episode back in S2. And Sweetie Belle is starting to learn her basic magic skills, i.e. levitation. Each of these things are on display in the first 3 minutes before the theme song is in display. And we find out at first that they're still learning. Twilight loves to do this because she's passing on her love of learning to the youth. Of course, being a guide and a motivator for the next generation. But of course, once the theme song is over, her worst nightmare returns to reaffirm herself as queen of characters that I want to see shoved through an apple picker. Or a cherry picker in my head canon, more or less. the return of Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoons, which, at first, Diamond Tiara is, well, being her usual chauvinistic, egotistical self by trying a display in which her butler is trying to entertain people in the space of her. Now, isn't that just typical of a rich kid? Upon the Crusaders talking about their weekly hangout with Twilight, affectionately referred to as Twilight Time by the four, Diamond Tiara gets a spark of excited curiosity, saying that she hasn't known a princess before and would love to be involved in the festivities. Of course, to boost her own ego and be like, who do I know today? Sweetie Belle looks at this as an opportunity to get into the popular crowd, while Scootaloo, being the smart one, knows that it's time that Twilight is set aside specifically for them, and that Diamond Tiara being involved would just ruin the whole thing for every pony. Apple Bloom and Scootaloo reluctantly agree, and the next time we see Twilight Time on display, Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoons are with them, which at first, the two snooty ones have a basic Justin Bieber freak out at the sight of Twilight, but ultimately, Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoons aren't initially making fun of them. But then again, the special time gets spread around the rest of their class, in which they all want to be involved with anything that Twilight does to get involved in the hourly festivities. It borderlines on celebrity stalking at this point. And by the way, we do learn a little bit of Twilight's eating habits. I thought princesses were supposed to eat healthy, not Big Macs, French fries, and a Coke at your local version of Mickey D's. I didn't think they had fast food in Equestria, which I find that rather curious. But of course, this gets the Cutie Mark Crusaders past the quote-unquote velvet rope of Tiara into the popular crowd, and we even get to see Diamond Tiara's house, which is appropriately, just like any spoiled rich girl, a gated community, in which most of the other girls are locked out trying to get in, while the Cutie Mark Crusaders are kicking it with the two snobs at the pool. But surprisingly, Twilight takes it in stride, seeing that she looks at the younglings being interested in the hour a day as a chance to spread her learning abilities to a more widespread audience, and ultimately near the end of the episode, so it allows everybody to join in. But when the ruse is up and it's just a popularity grab, it looks like the Cutie Mark Crusaders are about to lose their special privilege, until they showcase what they've learned during Twilight Time to surprisingly good effect. Scootaloo manages to repair Pipsqueak's scooter. Apple Bloom manages to make quite a couple of successful flowers that don't want to choke and die like in the opening joke. And Sweetie Belle actually shows some rudimentary knowledge and some weight skill of basic levitation. A first time we've ever seen Sweetie Belle use magic on her own in the series, which shows that this episode, once again, is a growth episode for the CMC and a growth in their individual characters. But this also shows that they still have the initial frailty of wanting to be part of the popular kids, and once again fall into Diamond Tiara's easily avoidable trap. But of course, Diamond and Silver Spoons get told off, and once again, Twilight Time is once again just between the CMC and Twilight at the end, with a little bit of added secrecy too. But all in all, the moral of this week's episode is about enjoying special privileges and knowing when they are truly special. But also, you get a double lesson about the price of knowing or being a celebrity. That when you are a celebrity, stands like Twilight is in this episode, privacy comes at a premium. And how you deal with all the added attention of being someone popular can determine what ultimately people think of you. And not to let the popularity, once you get it, go to your head. The episodes featuring the CMC this season have been great growth episodes for the three, and hopefully this will finally lead to one or all three of them getting their cutie marks in the end. But this once again shows Twilight at her strongest point, and the CMC at their strongest and continuing growth points, while still showing that there's a long path to go. Plus, if you watch late in the episode, there seems to be a blueprint of the Harmony box. So, Twilight is continuing her individual research in the subject. Basically, a nice bullet episode that once again shows that Diamond Tiara needs to be eliminated, seeing that she's a one no bully character that needs basically to get a sledgehammer to her dome at this point. The episode's premise with the rest of the class would have just been fine. We don't need Diamond Tiara to spark the situation again. That's really the only downside to a great CMC episode. So that shows once again Dave Polsky can write, and Dave Polsky can put together anything, slice of life or otherwise. That's why he's a veteran. Sure, when I read the premise initially, comedy ensued, and sure, there are some comedic moments, but the fact that this is a nice, somber lesson in popularity was also a surprising twist, and it is the first acknowledgement from any citizens in the town of Ponyville of Twilight's new position. Maybe now the adults can learn that they have a princess in their midst. Everything would just be fine by me. And a 2-second cameo by Pinky, which is good use of Pinky here. Which means I give Twilight Time the great score of a 5 out of a possible 6. For a slice of life episode that could have been an utter disaster, Dave Polsky once again proves his veteran mettle while keeping it together, while continuing to grow the CMC and still giving a lot of room to grow. Showing new and particular skills. Twilight showcases all of her strengths and some of her weaknesses, but ultimately shows that she is an intelligent guidance character. Once again showing the value of research via library, which Scootaloo scoffs at the first 3 minutes of the episode, much like modern kids today tend to do. They don't tend to want to read up on things, while also showing an intention to want to spread knowledge wherever she goes. This is really the first sign of Twilight's research, or her need to research, being shown as a good and positive influence. This episode would have gotten a perfect 6 if not for Diamond Tiara's typical one-note bullying techniques. It once again proves that Diamond Tiara should be ultimately pushed to the side. With a lot of character growth and some personal acknowledgments, Twilight Time may not look like the greatest episode at first glance, but ultimately the things that gravitate and ripple from this episode make it expertly important. Which ultimately leads to next week, when we get introduced to a Gen 1 classic and Gen 1 form, with It's Not Easy Being Breezies. Until next week, find peace in your own nirvana. And thanks for watching, and plus, an added note, thanks for the views for Philly Vanilli last week. You guys are great. I hope this video and others like it continue to get views. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I work hard on these week to week. And I just want to personally say at the end of this, thank you all very much.